Hi all, welcome to another video. Today we're going to be creating this. I know it's a bit ostentatious, it's not everybody's cup of tea, but it will give you an idea of how to go about creating a login box. So over here I have already added an images folder to my login box folder, the login box folder being the host folder for this project. And in there I've got the background. So let's create our index.html. Realistically though, if you were making a login box, you're probably using PHP, just put PHP on the end there. And also a styles.css. And let's go to the HTML, put in an exclamation, hit tab, and let's zoom in so we can see what we're doing, and let's open that with Live Server, which again is an extension of VS Code. If you go into extensions, search it there, click it, install, you're good. Okay, I'm going to close this up and let's give it a title, login page, and also let's link our style sheet, styles.css. There we go. For this I'm going to create a div with a class of box, because that's how inventive I am. And in there I'm going to create a form. If you don't know what the form element is, if you use PHP or something along those lines and you have a form, usually you would submit the form and everything within inside the form will be submitted to wherever you point it towards. So in here we could have, say, validation.php, and then the form would be submitted to that page, and then that would take over from there. But for this it's just a front-end tutorial, so I'm just going to put actually I'm going to leave that blank, and also you would put in here a method equals post or get or whatever, but anyway that's beyond the scope of this tutorial, so I'm going to leave that there. Right, inside we're going to create h2 and put login, save. Okay, and underneath there we're going to do an input. What type of input we're going to do is a text input for the username. So in there I'm going to call it username and give it the ID of username. Okay, and also in the next input I'm going to choose password. This is the same as the text input, but when you actually type something into the box it comes up with the dots or asterisks or whatever to hide what you're typing in. So it's the reason we use that. So I'm going to give that a name, a password, and an ID a password. Told you I was inventive. And also under that we're going to put some links in. So I'm going to put another div with a class of links, and what we're going to put in there, just open that up, put an A tag in there, and obviously I'm going to leave that blank for the time being, and let's do forgot password, and let's do another one, same again, hash in there, and this one is going to be sign up. So there we go, and the final thing we need in here is a submit button. Input, submit. There we go. The value I'm going to give to this is simply login, save, and you'll see the value is on the button there. Okay, the one thing I am going to do is, because if you can see that it suggests things, I'm going to go to the user input and say auto complete off, save, and now when you go, that annoying list box won't appear. So that's that bit done. So I think basically that is all we need for the HTML. Save. So let's get over to the style sheet. Right, so the first thing we're going to do, the usual thing really, asterisk, padding, none, margin, none, or 0, and box sizing, border box. Okay, and I'm also going to declare what font family I'm going to use, which is Dana. And obviously the other fonts in there are the fallback fonts. Save. You can see the fonts have changed and the margin, paddings, everything have disappeared. Right. So the body of the page. Let's display flex, because remember we want the login box to be in the middle. So let's do align items center and justify content center. There we go. It's not in the center vertically because we haven't given it a height, so let's do that. Height of 100 viewport height, and let's stick the width in anyway, 100%. There we go. Background, I'm going to give it a color just in case the image doesn't load for some reason, and I'm going to use 23, 23, 23. Like so, and then I am going to put the background image, and you have to specify the URL to where the image is, and it's, if you remember, it's in our images folder. Now the folder is in the same folder as this style sheet, so we don't need to navigate up or away or anything like that. So let's just put images. Is it images? It is. So yeah, images / you know what I haven't done there, that images / or is it a capital I? What am I missing here? Now then, that is a schoolboy error. I've actually put the index and the style sheet inside the images folder. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to save this, close, close, and then move them out. Move, move, close the images folder, and then open with live server again. You'll see there's an error because it couldn't find the file because we moved it. And so now if we go into styles, just open them both up, say URL, images / and there it was. Save. There you go. So okay, we need to position that, or give it a size at least, background size, and I want it to be cover. Save. There we go. Right, that'll do it for that bit. Now let's do the actual box. Box. Let's give it a width of 500 pixels and height of 350 pixels. We'll give it a border, 1 pixel solid. I've got a colour here of 2428 FF. There we go, can't really see much of it at the moment. Then we're going to do a border radius of 10 pixels, like so. And I'm also going to say overflow hidden, so nothing seeps out of it. And I'm also going to do a position relative, so the items inside I can use position absolute on and put them where I want them. And I'm also going to put a box shadow on the box itself, and I'm just going to say x0, y 10, so it moves down 10 pixels, 50 for the blur, and RGBA can do 0, 0, 0, 0.8. Okay, so you can just see it now pops a bit off the screen. Right, I'm going to use a pseudo selector. In fact, I'm going to go up here and say before and after. So all the resets we did up here will apply to everything, because down here we're going to do box after, and whenever you use before or after, excuse me, I'm pretty sure they have to have 2 semicolons. There we go. Whenever you use the pseudo selectors, basically before and after mean you can add elements, additional elements before and after the element you're working on. It has to have a content property. We're just going to leave that blank. It just has to be there. I'm going to create a width of 100% because I want it to fill the box, and also a height 100%. I'm going to position absolute, and I'm going to give it a, in fact, let's just save that. You won't see anything different at the moment, but what I'm going to do is position absolute, box shadow to this as well, but instead of the outside we want to do the inside, so we need to use the word inset, and here I'm going to do 0x, y 0, and 2000 pixels, a high number, RGBA, that high number for the blur, that is, and I'm going to give 0001, and there you can see it. We'll sort this out in a minute, nothing to worry about. Let's close this so you can see the code better. But we do want to do that blur effect, so I know a lot of people use blur, or what is it, filter, blur 10 pixels or something, and it does that sort of thing, but that's not what we're looking for. For this we want to do backdrop filter blur, and I'm going to do 16 pixels. There you go. So it's got that frosted glass effect, but it's dark tinted glass, if you like. Okay, so let's concentrate on the form inside because it's looking a bit messy. So form, I'm going to display flex direction column, and then I'm going to align items center, but when I justify it I'm going to do a space evenly. Now justify is vertically because we've used the flex direction of column. There you go. Right, obviously it's not taking up the entire height, so we need to do that. Height 100%. There you go. You can see the blur's disappeared. I'm going to use a width of 100% as well. I know it looks like it already is, but let's make sure it is. Position absolute, and now because we've done absolute, it's disappeared behind the after, because that has also got absolute, so it's in a prioritized order, so we need to bring it to the top. So we're going to say Z index Give it something like 5. There we go. But also I'm going to say top 0, just to make sure it's in the right place. Okay, so next we're going to move on to the form H2, and here I'm going to change the colour. I'm going to give it RGB A. I'm going to use a white, and then with an opacity of 0.7. There we go. But I do want to drop the font weight a bit so it's not as bold. So I'm going to say 300. That's better. And I'm also going to say letter spacing. We'll give that 2 pixel spacing. There we go. So as you can see, it's looking a lot more like this. Okay, so moving on from the H2, let's go down to the inputs. Now usually you just give the inputs a class, put a class in there, and so on, a class in there, and then you can reference them that way. But I thought, just to teach you something different, I'll reference the actual inputs. So form input, in here we need to say type equals, and then say which one or which ones. This will reference all forms with input types of text. But for this I will also want to reference the input with type of password. So text password. Do you remember? Type password, type text. Those are the two we're referencing. So let's open that up. What I want to do here is give it a width of 70%. There we go. Give it a bit of padding. So let's say 10 pixels all round, like that. Let's remove the border and then add a border. I know, a bit counterintuitive, but you know, 1 pixel solid. Got a colour here, 2428 FF. This colour is actually a colour I've taken off this image, so it sort of keeps with the theme. So if we save, you won't see much yet. It is there, but you won't see it because of the white background on the boxes. So let's get rid of that background colour transparent, and there you can see them now. But when you click inside them and you focus on the boxes, these horrible outlines appear. So outline none, save, they no longer appear. You can barely see the cursor in there because it's a default black. So let's change that. Let's do colour white smoke. There you go. Right, now you can see it. And then when you type something in, like my name, but wow, that is small. So let's change the font size to 1.2 rem. There we go. And again, this is password, so this is what comes up when you type your password in. You've seen it a million times when you've been online. That's how they do that. Right, you've probably also seen in these type of boxes that you have like text inside the boxes as placeholders. So let's do that. I'm going to use the pseudo selector for that as well. So let's grab both of these, copy, paste. I'm just going to put them on separate lines so they're easy to read. And after each one, I'm going to say placeholder. There we go. So that's going to reference that. I'm going to do colour of an RGB, and that's going to be 216, 231, 243, and font size of 1.2 rem. Now you can't see anything yet because I haven't put the placeholders in. So over here, if we go to, if we just widen this a bit so you can see what I'm doing, if we go to the end of input text, placeholder equals, and I'm going to put username, save. There you go, there's a placeholder, so as soon as you start typing that disappears, and when you empty it, it reappears. So we'll do the same thing for this one, placeholder equals password. It also saves having to put labels and things on it, it's just much cleaner. But yeah, let's move this back a bit to here. Let's go back to the CSS, save all that. Right, links, these links down here, typical thing you see on a login page, box, whatever, forgot password and sign up, register, whatever you want that to be. So let's do that. So I gave the links, if you see in here, they're wrapped in a div with the class links, so let's reference that. What we want to do, display, yep, flex direction row. I'm going to align items center, that refers to the vertical, and the justify refers to the horizontal now because we're flex direction of row. So let's justify content, and I'm going to do space between, so they're placed at each end. Obviously we need to give it a bit of a width first, so let's do it, let's do it here. No particular reason, just like to keep things in order. So we gave these inputs a width of 70%, so I'm going to do the same for the links box. So we save that. There you go. Okay. Now we actually need to reference the links. Links A, which, if you remember, are links A. I'm going to get rid of the underline. Text decoration, underline, save. They haven't gone away, have they? Text decoration, underline, links A. Let's have a look. Yep, it's official. I'm an idiot. There we go. Let's change the font size to 0.8 rem. Just make them a little smaller. There we go. Right. Then links A. When we hover over them, I don't know what we'll do. We'll put the text decoration as underline. There we go, and there you'll see them, but you can't see them very well. So let's give some colour. I want each of them to be a different colour. So I'm going to go dot links A, and then I'm going to say nth child, that one, the first one. So the first link, basically. I'm going to give this a colour, white smoke. Here we go. Let's copy that because I'm lazy, and then reference the second one and give it a colour of pink. Why not? You can make them any size you want, really. It's up to you. Maybe that's better, maybe it's not, don't know. Let's do the button down here, which is another type of input, which is submit type. Obviously, again, you can just give it a class and reference that, but we're learning, so let's do that. Yeah, form input type equals submit. Okay, what do we want to do? Let's give it some padding. 7 and 50. So 7 pixels top and bottom, and 50 left and right. Font size. Let's change that to 1 rem. And background. I'm going to use the same colour. I'm going to be consistent and use that blue. You can see it's in my list of colours now, so we've been using it. So let's get rid of that border. Then let's add a border radius of, what should we do, 5? Yeah. And the actual colour of the font, again, I'm going to use white smoke. Here we go. I'm going to change the cursor to a pointer, so we know it's clickable, like so. Okay, move that up. And I'm going to transition the background colour, because I want that to change on hover, so let's just put that in there. So if we take this, stick hover on the end, then we can change the background colour, and I'm going to change it to, again, I've took a colour off the image, the background image, and it's A827A8, like that. And there we go. So put a username in, password, login, and there you go, don't save. Obviously these you can so I'm still not happy with that. Let's try somewhere in the middle. Yeah, okay. So see, the background adjusts with it because we used cover, and the background of the box is blurred, which I think is a really nice effect. Anyway, that's it for Login Box. Hope you learned something, enjoyed it, whatever. If you leave a like and consider subscribing, I would be very grateful. As always, the code will be left in a GitHub repo and the link down below, so if you want to just take this with the image and everything, because I've got this image is free for use from where I got it from, you can have a play around with it and see what's what. But again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon.